So, hello everyone. We are once again back with the another session on very with a very wonderful guest that we have for the today the session. This is the sixth interview that we have for the interview series that's on disability and its challenges. So, let's see who is the guest for today. So, hello, hi,
Hello, Jen.
So, all good?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So that's it's great having you there. Yeah. So before we proceed further, like go on the questionnaire and just asking people asking the question as I asked. So before that, can you just yeah
All right, an introduction about myself.
yeah? So can you just introduce yourself to the viewers? If you could
Yeah,
tell something about yourself, about your family a bit.
yeah, sure. So, hello everyone. I'm prabhsimar Kaur, and I am a Delhi height, and I'm right now doing pursuing B.Sc Physical Sciences from Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi, and I'm also the president of Lakshya Enabling Unit of my college. And my society, Lakshya Enabling Unit, is being organizing many events and helping the uh, differently able students, basically right now the visually impaired students of my college.
Okay, and what about your family a bit?
Yeah, so there are 6 members in my family, and it's quite good. It's a nuclear family.
Okay, so that's great. Like you told something a bit about yourself and your family as you told me from this. So let's start the interview. Coming on the question. So like I just wanted to ask you a question. It's a straight question. Like, what is a disability according to you that you understand by the term disability, and what do you mean by it? And plus, I include in this question itself, like, are you a person with disability? Because the viewers can be the person with disability or without, so they need to be knowing now. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, according to me, disability is something or a certain thing according to which a person is not able to do something, not able to perform a certain task. According to me, what I have seen, being working with the enabling unit of my college, I really don't feel the we call if certain person is not visually impaired or is having certain other hearing impairment, we call that person as a person with a different ability, but or with a person with a disability. But by working 3 years with enabling unit, I have felt that it's just a word. It does not matter even if the person is a visually impaired or has some other disability. Still that person has a lot of courage to do a lot of things. Even I feel that the I'm currently working a lot with the visually impaired students, and I have felt that this is not a disability for them. They are even doing much better than the normal people.
Okay. So, as I asked same question that I was included over there itself, that are you a person with the disability or without disability, so the viewers can know something a bit
uh,
more.
so no, I'm not the person with disability.
Okay, so you're a person without disability and explaining the disability terminology very rightly you explained that. So, like moving a bit ahead, like what do you think like the person with disabilities or different disabilities like might be facing according to the challenges that they used to face during the normal times, not in these special times that we're talking in the pandemic time.
Jayant, your voice is.
Yeah, so my question is, so I hope I'm clear to you that the question is that according to you, what is like disability? I'm asking the which disability, the person with disabilities would be facing the challenges in their normal times. As you're talking pandemic times, I'm just talking about the normal time, the regular day, what they might be facing some issues or challenges
Alright.
according to you.
What are the difficulties or the challenges being faced by the persons with disability?
Yeah, according to you. Yeah,
Alright, you can start.
that's already there.
Okay.
Start.
Okay. So, according to me, the one of the biggest and the greatest challenge faced by the persons with disability is the negative attitude of the people. I have seen that the people with disability, I would rather call it the person with different abilities, they try to be self independent. They don't like to be dependent on anyone. But one of the thing I have seen that the normal people or the people without disability, they tend to make them dependent. The normal people think that these people are being dependent on the normal people, but being working with this with the different ability students, I have felt that it's not the case. They are self reliable, they want to be self reliable, and most of the times they do. I have seen some of the times they don't even they actually, I can say ki, they felt a little ashamed to ask us for the help. Like being working with the enabling unit, we ask them like to for any of the assignments or for any of the tests, we ask them that they should tell us a day prior. We will arrange a volunteer for them to write the test and assignments, but some of the times they don't even tell us, or sometimes they're not able to get their notes arranged and don't, and still they don't tell us, just because they think that it feels a little
Oh,
inferior to them not to tell. But I feel this is a challenge. But because of these negativities the people had made them felt, this is one of the biggest challenge. And sometimes the resources are not accessible, so this is also a challenge.
very rightly said. Like you mentioned it very rightly that there is a negative attitude, or what should I say, attitudinal barrier between the person with and without disability. So that's needs to be a break. So coming on to back, not to that first, moving ahead before, like what can be a solution on an alternative that you told about a negative attitude. So what needs to be done to bring that or bridge that gap or to bring that change?
Okay. So basically, first of all, we need to provide right education to the people to treat everyone equal. It's not that the normal people or the people without any disability are much superior than the people with any disability. It's not that. We all are the children of God. God has all created all of us. So I think that basically from the education given in school time, this should be taught to the children that everyone is equal. Even if a person has a disability, you don't have any right to treat them inferior to yourself, or to making fun of themselves, or thinking that these people are dependent on yourselves. No, they are not dependent. They want to be independent if we provide them a positive environment. And as like I have seen, there are integrated schools, like Saksham integrates visual impaired students or the other students with the normal schools. So I feel this is a really good initiative, that it's a benefit for both the children, for the with the children with different abilities, and as well as for the children without any disability, that they know how to do all of these things together.
Okay. So, like moving further and now coming to the pandemic, as we talk about, as we're talking the same pandemic about. So, what do you think there might be the challenges? Some could be different, or some the challenges being faced by the person with disability. What could be your thought on?
Uh, One of the biggest challenge, according to me, what I am able to see with with the visual impaired students of my colleges, like due to the pandemic situation, they are not allowed to live in their hostels. Most of the students have to move to their houses, and some of them are living in the villages. And due to the pandemic situation, all our education system is shifted to online. So due to this very thing, the students have to take online classes. And sometimes in the villages or in the towns, small towns, there is a problem of internet connection, which is a big trouble. Even we people face that. So that thing, due to this thing, the students are facing a lot of problem in attending the online classes. And due to these online modes, like the different portals made for the visually impaired students, or the other apps, they are not so convenient to use. So it's a little bit trouble, though they have adapted this thing and they're using it really very well now. But the internet connectivity, due to which they are not able to attend the classes, is a big trouble according to me.
Okay, okay. So, like you talked about the challenges for the person with vision impairment and the person with disabilities. So, what do you think can be a change or what alternatives or what can be some solutions that need to be provided in this to those challenges that they are facing in this pandemic?
All right. So, as I told you, according to me, one of the biggest trouble for the visually impaired students is in the online classes. So, a change what can be done to improve one of this very thing is, teachers can shift to that platform of teaching where where the visually impaired students or the persons with different abilities are also convenient. Like if the students are not convenient on a certain platform, they can move to the other platform on which they are also convenient, because the persons without any disability are convenient on both the platforms. And secondly, the otherwise, if they are facing internet connectivity issues and they are not able to attend any lecture, then this could be done like the teachers can record the whole session and they can provide it to all the children. It's not that the visually impaired or the non-visually impaired or the other children, to all the children. And they can ask their doubts. Like sometimes I have seen some of the teachers, they don't really answer the questions of the visually impaired students. Sometimes I have seen this thing, that they are not able to clarify their doubts, or sometimes due to the network connection problems they are rejoining the classes. So in certain cases, the teachers also get disturbed that again admitting the child in the room. So it could be the thing that they could record the lectures and they can send them. So otherwise, if they have any doubts after that, they can just ask through the WhatsApp or through calls, as convenient to the teacher and student both.
Okay, very rightly, like you mentioned, very right alternatives that could be done for the person with disability, either it's visually impaired or something, any other disability. So there could be like steps that could be taken with different disabilities and so on. So, like moving a bit further. So my next question to you be like, what is the gap that you see, like you think that is there being a person without disability? That what is the gap that we have in our society between the person with and without disability, which needs to be bridged up?
Okay, so basically, what I have observed is sometimes due to the lack of knowledge and due to the negative thoughts of the people, there is a gap between the differently abled students and the normal students, the persons without any disability. There is a gap due to this negative attitude of the people. The people have a really very negative attitude, due to which this gap arises. If if this negative attitude is being removed from the mind of the people, and uh, they have been taught at a very early stage that everyone is equal and they should not treat them unequally or should make fun of them, then this gap would get resolved really very well.
Okay, you rightly said. So, moving a bit further, yeah. So the next question, as I said, it is that like, what do you think in the coming future? What will be a better model that we see in being in the society, which needs to be followed for the person with disability? Like, as we see the person with disabilities as a charity model, as a social model, or as a medical, or any other model that you think would be better for the person with disabilities or for a society as a whole.
Alright. So, according to me, in the coming years, there could be a better improvement towards the thinking, towards this thing. Like, for example, right now I have seen a lot of the people with the different abilities are working more. Like, they are working a bit better and in a bit more organized, in a better way, to abolish this gap. So as this gap is being getting abolished really very soon, I can see that this gap is being minimizing. more the number of organizations are being started, more the interest the people with the different abilities are taking. So this gap is getting thinner day by day, it is getting really thinner, and soon this gap would be abolished. So as this gap would be abolished, this thing, the charity thing, would get out of the minds of the people, and they would really get to know that there are a lot of things that the people with the different abilities can also do, right? Sometime back I met my friends one of my friend's father, and I told him about the enabling unit part, and I told him that we get a lot of scholarships for the students, and they get jobs also. And I was surprised to know that he was not even aware of the thing that there are jobs for the visually impaired people as well. So he was quite surprised to know this. So as slightly we can see, uh, the number of the jobs are increasing for the differently able students, and more they are becoming self-reliable. So this gap is getting abolished, and due to which this charity model would soon get abolished, uh, and I hope this negative mindset is also getting abolished, and hence there would be a quite good model for the differently able students as well.
Okay, so
And hmm,
continue, continue. Yeah.
and according to my wish, I really want that soon this charity model will get abolished and everyone would be treated equal. And what I wish is that I have seen, if someone is working really very well, really working for the social causes, there are a lot of people dragging them back. So I wish that this thing would also get improved really soon.
You very rightly said, like the person is struggling and doing something good for the society. So there are people who like pull those people back a bit. But those kind of people, it doesn't matter for them because they keep on working, they keep on striking others, and the struggles keeps on, and they keep on fighting for the
Yes.
socially marginalized sections of the society.
Mm. Yeah.
So moving a bit further and towards almost the end of this interview. So my next it's not a question; it's just a thing that I wanted to ask. Like, what a kind of message that you want to give, like to as a society as a whole, to the person with disability or without disability, what needs to be done, or what is a message that you would like to give to the society as a whole?
All right. So, as I would really like to give a message to to the differently able students that yes, you are self-reliable and you should not get demotivated with the negative mindset of the people. It's a society and people will say a lot of things, and this should not matter to you. You should do a lot about yourself. And you should encourage yourself to participate in a lot of activities. To you should en- uh, you should join the things or the courses you really wish to do, because there are a number of courses, a lot of courses being introduced right now for the differently able students as well. So you should just keep this thing out of your mind that you have a certain disability. No, it's not the case. You are able, and you should never think, you should never feel yourself to be inferior of anyone. And to all the and the message to all the uh, normal people or the people without any disability, that you should never have a negative attitude towards any of the persons with disability, because it's not their fault. It's how they have got that. It's through the god has created all the children. So you should never feel yourself as superior to them. Everyone is equal. And if someone is working, and you should not feel charity towards them. You should, if you want to help them, that's a good initiative, but don't make them feel that you are helping them. You should not never do this. Just that.
Okay, so like moving a bit forward towards almost the end, as I said. So like, what do you think? Like people without disability or any other kind of people are there. There are lots of human beings of different kinds who are there on the earth. So, what do you think? A sympathy would work, or some, giving empathy to person with disability would work?
I didn't got the question. Can
Yeah.
you please
So
repeat it?
yeah, definitely I would repeat it. So my question is that uh, like as we know, there are different kinds of people having different mindsets. So what do you think, according being a person without disability, what do you think? So that the person with disability needs to be treated with sympathy or with empathy. What's your say on
All right. So I really don't feel that you should treat them with sympathy, because when you are sympathetic to someone, you really feel like, all right, they you should help them. They cannot do something. You should never do that. You should rather encourage them. You should rather you should rather not make them feel that they have certain kind of disability. You should rather treat them equally with you, as they are same as you. So that was the thing.
that? Okay, so it was like railing here. It was like a great railing here. You and your points that you said, like, and hoping like more in future, like people coming up and like speaking on these topics and doing more studies in this field of like disability studies and doing a lot of researches in the coming future. And so my next question, almost the last, yeah, it's only the last. So what do you have a stand or do you have a say on that? Like when we talk about persons with disability and without disability, so there is also some superstition that the person with disabilities cannot make friends with persons without disability. So that is also a gap when we talk about friendship or relationship or in anything in relationships or friendships or any other thing that we talk about.
No, I don't believe that this is really a superstition, because I have not felt
Stigma, I
this
can
in.
say. Rather of saying superstition, there's stigma that a person with disability will only have a friend or a relation. Person with disability only or without disability cannot ha- have that any relation with or friendship without disability.
No, I really don't feel that. No, I have ever felt this in last 3 years. It's been from 3 years that I have started working for this cause. So I have never felt that, and I don't even believe this thing, because I have been friends with all of the visually impaired students of my college, and I have never felt that they cannot be friends. Even they are quite good friends. And I have a quite good friend with you too, Jen.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, and I really don't feel this thing, and I really want people to remove this thing from their mind. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. I really don't believe it, and I don't want people to also believe it, because it's a pointless thing.
And that's a stigma or the mindset of the people that we need to change. So that's why I just asked you this
Yeah.
question.
This
What
thing
do
needs
you
to
think?
be removed, and I have seen like all of my volunteers who are working to for my the betterment of my society,
Yeah.
for the enabling unit. I have never felt this thing in anyone. So they all have been very good with people, or very good friends with all of the students they're working with, writing their notes. And they have also never made anyone felt like the same, and they were also very good friends. So this is a point which I have not seen, and I don't want anyone to do this even.
Very rightly said, like probably you mentioned that there needs to be everyone needs to be treated equally in the society. So let's hope for a better future coming for everyone and where like in the society every human being would be treated equally with dignity and like liberty, the liberty that everyone has, but not doing behaving with anyone as a human being in any other different way. No one is different from another. It's just that we have a viewpoint or mindset that we see people in that manner. That's all. Thank you so much for like sharing your views and coming and first of all like accepting our like invitation and just coming and just sharing your views on this.
Welcome, and I would also like to say thank you to you for inviting me for this interview, so that I could also share my point of view and my thoughts about the differently abled
And
students.
that was really a great, very yes, interview that I can say with you. So thank you so much, and thank you so for to all the viewers who are seeing this thing. Let's hope for the better future in the coming ahead, and we will be building more and more interviews of these kinds. So thank you everyone. Bye.